Instead of starting off the day with just more depressing coof talk, we'll wait for the second video for that. No, we're gonna see how a bunch of elites are spending your great-grandchildren's dollars. Yeah, trillions and trillions of dollars are getting thrown around in a late-night Tuesday Senate session where they advanced a whole bunch of garbage and bullshit and some astronomical numbers and figures that I can't believe are being tangibly talked about in the year 2021. But don't worry, it's all for very necessary things, I'm sure. We'll get into that fucking infrastructure bill in a minute, and also the budget that is completely absurd at the face of it. But what else also got passed in the middle of the night as well is that Senate Bill number 1. Yes, resurrecting that fucking For the People Act. Yeah, it's going to get forwarded again because Democrats have been working on that because they will not give up on federalizing elections and seizing control wherever they see a weakness. And, well, when you take a look at the modern day GOP, and frankly, if we're gonna say modern day, probably like what, the past 60, 70 years at this point, they've been ineffectual for a minute, and you've got to lay the blame squarely at their feet because leftists are gonna leftist, okay? They're just gonna keep on pushing the fucking boundary. But the people that are supposed to be there, they're supposed to be conserving some shit, they just keep backing up and they just keep backing down. So you gotta start holding these fucking morons accountable as well. But here we go. The U.S. Senate voted early Wednesday morning along party lines to advance a sweeping election reform bill that would give the federal government powers over states and nationalized voting laws. Democrats voted 50 to 49 to discharge the voting rights legislation S1 for the People Act of 2021 from the Rules Committee for future floor debate. Now, does that mean that it's passed through the Senate? No. That means that they're going to be bringing it up in the next session that's going to occur midway through September. I think I read somewhere along here. Yeah, it says right there. The Senate will adjourn on Thursday, so they're going to have a really, really, really long weekend because they're overworked because they had to squeeze in everything that they possibly could in the one night of debate, and then now they're just going to need another couple of weeks off to go, I don't know, be activists or just worthless clingers on to the federal government because they couldn't get fucking regular work otherwise. But whatever, they're going to be back Monday, September 13th, yeah, to begin further consideration on S1. That was the bill from, oh my gosh, at the beginning of the year that had all of that fun stuff, such as national mail-in voting, no signature verifications, no voter ID laws, all of that kind of fun stuff. But apparently, Joe Manchin, one of those moderate Democrats, the ones who voted to push forward upcoming debate on this bill. Oh yeah, they've been working behind the scenes to really refine it. Let's see what the fuck they do. I guess that'll be in September anyways, once the bill becomes public. But what else did they do in the middle of the night? Well, after passing their $3.5 trillion reconciliation package late Tuesday night along party lines, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced a motion to advance S1 for the People Act of 2021 from the Rules Committee to the Senate floor. Yes, you heard that correctly. You might have read it along with me. $3.5 trillion Senate budget package. Oh my God. That is so much money, okay? I remember when the big thing, I was really young, but for whatever stupid reason sticks out in my mind. When the deficit for the United States first crossed into $1.6 trillion range, that was at the end of the Clinton administration. It's only ballooned ever since. And Trump's not off the hook for that one either. He also contributed to that, but at the same time, he was also making a turnaround and the economy was booming. Doesn't really matter what metric you try to use to fucking justify otherwise. He did a great job with the economy, and it would have been just as good, if not better, continuing into the future if it wasn't for this stupid fucking pandemic. Sorry, my mistake. Don't want to get struck. I just about have that strike removed from my channel. But as you can see here, what's inside Senator Sanders? I don't know why anybody has just allowed this to happen, but the guy who's in charge of the purse strings for the Democrats is a fucking communist. Is Bernie Sanders. Does nobody see that we're living in fucking clown world? It's so fucking absurd. I can't believe that. I can, because the ineffectual opposition allowed for this shit to happen. Not enough people fighting back. Enough people just seceding ground. Oh, we don't think that that's going to be important somewhere in the future. Oh, what's that? You want culture? That's all right. We'll worry about Wall Street. Oh, what? Everybody is graduating from college and needs jobs, and all of a sudden they start working on Wall Street, and then they're pushing us out, and we're just left on a little island, and we can just continue to saber rattle without having to actually fucking do anything. I'm a Republican. Fuck off. As you can tell, I'm getting really, really sick and tired of all of this shit. But yeah, let's see how, I don't know, fucking generations worth of money is going to be spent here because Larry David's Downs afflicted stunt double fucking wrote this up because, oh, the millionaires and billionaires can pay for that. Oh, did I say millionaires? What I actually meant was just billionaires, because now I'm one of the millionaires with 5 fucking houses. The fucking cocksucker. On August 11th, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer publicly released the full text of Bernie Sanders' $3.5 trillion budget proposal. A few hours later, the Senate narrowly confirmed the budget, 50-49. Now the budget must win approval from the House of Representatives after they return from their recess. You think it's going to struggle to go through the House? I highly fucking doubt it. The outline is expected to be the first step in the Democrats' ambitious plans to increase federal spending on human infrastructure. Not real infrastructure, but human infrastructure. What does that mean? Well, healthcare. We need to make sure that we can have buy-the-calf care, whatever he was fucking talking about on the campaign trail. It needs to become a reality. Whatever. Including education, healthcare, and housing initiatives. So you've already socialized the fucking houses by making sure that eviction moratoriums continue in perpetuity forever and fucking ever. So what more do you want, or what more are you going to take is a better question. However, the resolution does not include an increase to the debt ceiling. Yeah, why would they fucking worry about that? Money machine go brrrr, setting the stage for another political battle when Congress returns. Like they care. Like they fucking care. On August 9th, Sanders discussed the components of his ambitious plan on the Senate floor. I'm sure he got into fucking finite detail. Oh, yeah, the healthcare is a human right. Fuck off. Saying that the $3.5 trillion budget proposal and reconciliation bill would be the most consequential and comprehensive piece of legislation for working people that the Senate has addressed since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Ugh, with a fucking New Deal that continued the Great Depression for at least 8 years longer than it needed to. What is this going to do? Oh, it's just going to push the fucking whatever government-made depression. It'll carry that debt decades on into the future. It'll something I'll never see paid off in my lifetime. I goddamn guarantee it. I'm 31 years old and I take good care of myself. I should be living for a long fucking time. This tab is just going to be a drop in the bucket at the end of the day. Some of the expenses in Sanders' budget are nothing new. Around $800 billion annually for national defense, $70 billion annually for international affairs and foreign aid. She should just fucking scratch all that, whatever. $45 billion for research, NASA, and other scientific pursuits. Can we get a breakdown of that? Cool, thanks. And $20 billion in subsidies for farmers. Yeah, is that racist fucking farmer proposal? You might have heard of that one. I think we covered it somewhere along the line. It's basically simply broken down to the fact that if you don't look like Bernie Sanders and you run a farm, which I kind of thought some people might have apprehensions to, you know, for obvious reasons, but if you're a certain shade of color, regardless of the time of the year it is, you're going to get a certain amount. And if you are indeed pasty white and you do apply, you're going to have to stand at the back of the bus. And if there's any money left over, then you can get some of it. This is what you get with Democrats in charge. Fucking segregation and eventually leading to fucking work camps. Terrific. Citizenship for illegal immigrants. Oh, this is a part of some of that human infrastructure I'm hearing about. Sanders began his speech unveiling his budget by flailing his arms and saying that the time is long overdue for comprehensive immigration reform and the path towards citizenship for millions of undocumented workers and families in this country. Oh yeah, so rewarding breaking the law. That totally makes sense. But I thought just a couple years ago, open borders was a Koch brothers proposal, and it's just what the rich want. But just like any good socialist, he gets a taste of the good life, and then all of a sudden, oh no, we need to have more cheap labor. Because I'm not going to go out there and trim my bushes. I'm not going to shovel my sidewalk in the winter. Have you been in Vermont in the winter? Giving citizenship to illegal immigrants has been top priority for the Democratic Party since 2016. And let's not take George W. Bush off the fucking hook for that one, because he also was trying to push amnesty in 2006-ish. Right towards the end of his second term, he tried to push that. But it was overwhelmingly unpopular then. But all of a sudden, now they have the right indoctrinated people in the right indoctrinated places. And all of a sudden, it's a fucking winning proposition. tuition? Cool, okay. Free childcare and secondary education. Yes, because 13 years of indoctrination isn't enough. Let's go ahead and get those fucking numbers up there. Those are rookie numbers. A large portion of the budget is devoted to education, with over $726 billion slated to go towards various programs like childcare, pre-K, and tuition-free community college. Oh, great. One of the last bastions. I can't speak about pre-K. I can't speak about childcare. Something about the government, and especially the people that are currently in power, looking after, toddlers. It just rubs me the wrong way, mostly because they like to rub them the wrong way. But the community college system is pretty brilliant in the way that it's structured and set up. Like, if you aren't entirely sure what you want to do, but you know that you need some kind of a higher education, it's the best place to go dick around with a low barrier of entry, and that you can go and get a degree. You can set yourself up to go to trade school by going through a community college. It's fucking genius. That's where I got a lot of my education from. I saved up the money, I fucking did it, and I took out a loan, and I eventually paid out my loan, because when you don't have to shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to just do worthless shit like fucking lesbian poetry or study critical race theory while you're sitting around fucking banging a drum, puffing on the peace pipe, I don't give a flying fuck. If that's your choice, if that's what you want to do, cool. Go waste somebody else's money. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay it back, because, hey, nowhere in here does it say they're going to be forgiving student debt, even though that was something old Biden, I'm going to get rid of student debt. And then he gets into office, I'm not going to get rid of student debt. Y'all can go fuck yourself. You're too old for me. But remember, no mean tweets. Sanders criticized the state of childcare in the country, and asserted that the legislation would ensure that no working family in this country should be paying more than 7% for their childcare. What a fucking weird statistic to pull up. Sanders said that this would be accomplished through providing subsidies to parents and help them afford childcare, and providing higher wages to childcare workers. So yeah, federalize or have more government intervention into what could be a private home. Like, when I was growing up, my mom ran a daycare. There were several kids that were around, and she did that in order to spend time with her own children, as well as make some money as well. Didn't need any government subsidies for that. And anecdotes like that happen all the fucking time. And especially in this little fucking weird corner of Alberta, it's a booming economy. So no, you don't need government fucking intervention. You don't need it coming in and fucking everything up. Yeah, and then like it puts here, finally, the Democrats have no intention of forgiving student debt or making all public colleges and universities free, but the plan does provide for tuition-free 2-year community college, which is basically just going to be the 13th and 14th fucking grade, let's be honest. Federal housing, yeah, $332 billion towards government subsidies for more fucking Section 8 housing instead of Section 5 housing, which we outlined before, which is a way that you can work towards ownership for your house, because when you're giving something for free, or you just have to pay a small fee in order to live in some kind of a government shithole, the likelihood that you're going to take as good care of that as you would for something that you're eventually going to own is 0 to fucking none. Whereas Section 5 housing is government subsidized, but then eventually you become a homeowner in that sense. Something that a lot of people don't talk about, something that even few people know about. But yeah, no, this is just more socialized fucking housing. Great. But what else would you expect coming from Bernie Sanders? New healthcare reforms and funding, great. Another huge focus on the budget is the expansion of federal government's role in healthcare. Why? It sucks. We pay individually in the United States. We pay so much for healthcare, and we get such bad healthcare. Okay, if it's such bad healthcare, Bernie, why do people fly from all over the world to come to the United States to get the elective procedures? Just asking. You'll never answer me. You'll never have an answer in general. Mostly it just gets pushed off. We'll deal with that later. Just pass more bills. Money falls from trees. But whatever. As a childcare worker, Democrats hope to increase healthcare workers' wages. Whatever. I don't care. There's probably so many sprained ankles from all those fucking TikTok dances, and you need to be able to compensate them properly. Whatever. Hire some more choreographers for the upcoming whatever the fucking new wave of shit is going to be called. Additionally, the proposal would devote $18 billion to the Veterans Affairs. That's it. $18 billion to the VA. Oh, you guys should be I hope every single one of you flipping through this gets a really bad paper cut. Exactly. Hopefully there's several $1 billion of band-aids for the fucking Senate. Anyways, yeah, so more fucking spending, but yeah, what's the consequence of that? Oh, inflation. Everything becomes more expensive until you end up with fucking, 1920s Germany, 2010s Venezuela, wheelbarrows full of fucking worthless currency. I'm not saying we're there. I'm not saying we're close. but we're heading down that path. Inflation grows slow in July, still a concern as it broadens and stays historically high. What happens when inflation hits a certain level? Well, it ain't good. It really ain't fucking good, okay? And then the next fucking superpower in line ends up taking over. And unfortunately, the guy that's right behind the United States ain't as fucking sympathetic, ain't as good as the United States. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, no, what's the problem? If everything just costs more, you just need to print more money, right? Fucking morons. 75 IQ takes here. Consumer prices rose in July at their slowest monthly pace since February. Oh, cool. Although a broadening of price pressures suggests that inflation may be more present than Federal Reserve officials predict, or offering little relief to American households rocked by months of surging prices. Yes, month over month there's been increases. Nothing has stayed the same, nothing has dropped. It's only been going fucking up, straight to the moon with inflation. It's great, it's wonderful. The Labor Department stated in the report on August 11th that the Consumer Price Index jumped 0.5% in July from June, which is less than the previous month's increase of 0.9%. Cool, we're getting better. Over the year, consumer price inflation stood at 5.4% in July, matching the June figure, which was the highest 12-month spike since 2008. Great. Last time Joe Biden was in a prestigious office. So-called core inflation, which excludes the volatile category of food and energy, rose 0.3% from June after surging 0.09% from May to June. Core inflation for the 12-month ending in July rose 4.3%, down from 4.5% in June. How terrific. Why is all this stuff happening? Oh, for a multitude of reasons. Continuing to print money, continuing to spend money. The economy's so fragile, it just about ran for office on a Democrat ticket and riding so many bubbles. There should be a little kid with a fucking spoon out in the front yard fucking blown into him. And all of this shit, it was all kicked off some of those first initial executive orders that Biden signed. Getting rid of the Keystone XL pipeline, starting to ban fracking, ban any sort of drilling on federal lands, effectively killing off energy independence for the United States. Why? Don't know. Well, kind of do know, because the Great Reset ain't no fucking conspiracy theory, but that's another story for another day. But it only took, 6 months to come around to the 7 months, I guess it would be. Guts of 8, really. I'll eventually get the fucking dates right. For the White House to come around and realize that, hey, we need to start relying on our global partners because we're kind of running out of oil. That'd be great if you guys could fucking pump more. Hey, how about you just reverse those executive orders, because those people who still want to work are still looking for jobs. And good paying jobs in the natural gas industry are plentiful. And, but they're temporary jobs. Yeah, because they're construction jobs. And guess what? You just move on to a different pipeline. You work on a different facility. There is a bunch of empty space with a bunch of fucking oil, natural gas, fracking that can be happening, okay? And if you're still falling for the propaganda of I can set my tap water on fire, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. I've seen fracking. I've been around fracking. I've been on leases with fracking, okay? I've been around the different places that are huge natural gas fields where Trican, Calfrac, Schlumberger, every Tom, Dick, and Harry company that's out there has been up there, has been fracking. They employ the exact same fucking dropouts who make 6 to 7 digits a fucking year. Nothing happens. They go in, they drill, they cap, they pipeline, they get the fucking shit out of there, and then within a couple years' time, you don't even notice that they're fucking there. The only thing that's left is just the monitoring station, and then maybe a little bit of above ground pipe. And guess what else you see? A whole bunch of grass and a whole bunch of trees, because it's not the fucking barren wasteland like the propagandists would love you to believe. Oh, they just tear up the land and they don't do anything to replace anything that they've overturned. That is 1000% untrue. I've been on many a pipeline right away, and I've seen it all first fucking hand. All you need to do is just take a look and stop fucking believing the mainstream narrative. But I'm already preaching to the fucking converted. You guys already know this. I've been over this ad nauseum. I just can't stand any of that fucking shit, because it's all such patently bullshit catered to these 90 to 110 IQ fucking Mensa wannabes who think that they're so fucking enlightened because they buy everything that MSNBC, CNN, and the fucking mainstream media push out there. Well, if the government tells us that it's true, it's gotta be true. It's fucking not. Do your own research, for Christ's sakes. If you're stupid enough to fall for the fact that, oh, natural resources is killing us all, fucking, oh my god, climate change is going to be the end of us all. Why is it alright for OPEC to start pumping more oil out there instead of Canada and the US working together in order to be energy independent? Blah, 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 globalism, right? Yeah, exactly. White House calls on OPEC to boost the production of, as gasoline prices soar. Even up here, okay, right after Biden took office, this correlates perfectly. Gasoline it started out, it was right around 93 and change that October, right before the election. And then by the turn of the new year, it was about $1.20. Now I think it's over $1.30 right now per liter. You can do your own equations, but I think that works out to be 5, 6, something like that per gallon. Something like that. And that's up here in buttfuck Grand Prairie, so it's not much different everywhere else you look. About my climate disaster, or whatever the fuck you're calling it this week. Worried about rising gas prices, the Biden administration has called on oil-producing countries, including Saudi Arabia and Russia, to raise their oil production. Strong recovery in global demand and slow growth in supplies have been pushing crude oil prices in recent months, but no mean tweets. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan issued a statement on August 11th asking the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and Russia, weird, to address a rising gasoline costs. Higher gasoline costs, if left unchecked, risk harming the ongoing global recovery, i.e. we need some more oil and we don't want to blow up any more brown people in order to get it. In July, OPEC ministers agreed to boost oil production by 0.4 million barrels per day on a monthly basis from August until year end. The decision came amid a strong rebound in global demand. Yeah, no shit. While OPEC recently agreed to the production increases, these increases will not fully offset production cuts that OPEC imposed during the pandemic well into 2022. Cool. You know, could stop all of this stuff? Letting those motherfuckers build the Keystone XL pipeline. Returning back to drilling and fracking on federal lands. You could solve this in a fucking instant. The recovery would be taking place by the end of the year. Goddamn well guarantee it. It doesn't take that fucking long to drive a bit into the ground and hit fucking oil. I've seen the people who are out there, and it ain't that fucking tough of a job. But the big moral of this story is government just needs to get the fuck out of the way. But unfortunately, that's not the case. In fact, you better set an extra plate at the table for them, because it's about to become a whole hell of a lot worse, and they'll figure out whatever fucking means of justification they need in order to continue to push their narrative of Makoof for as long as they can. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.